Alright, you guys know what time it is already. It's Quora question time. Let's get in there already. Alright, so this one will be quick 15 minutes. Let's get started here. I used to be a smart person, but not anymore. I've noticed my cognitive processes have slowed down and I'm slow with my thinking. It sometimes takes me an abnormally long time to process someone's sentence or question. Has anyone experienced this? Now, this is you gotta evaluate this on case by case basis. I know someone who used to speak so eloquently, but then they got Lyme's disease, and then their speaking speed went down. But yeah, so that's one thing. So maybe that's one possible. But there's different several factors. All right. Why take a 15-year mortgage instead of a 30-year mortgage? With a 30-year mortgage, can't you simply pay more when you're able to, without having the 15-year deadline looming over? To me, for this question, I think you want to get it paid as fast as possible because that's less that to be collect interest. All right. Directly, could you put something absolutely ridiculous in the contract slash non-disclosure agreement, and the person who reads and sign it would actually need to do it legally? Like, are there limits? Even both parties agree. Um, Now this is the difference between informed consent and consent. So person consents, they just sign it, but they didn't have informed consent. So that's something for the court. What are some reasons people choose to have jobs with very long commutes? All right, let's see what Kurt has to say. He's a good comedian on this part. All right, let's see. All right, all right. Your spouse works in the opposite direction, so moving doesn't fix anything. True, true, true. You really like your home, your neighbors, your neighborhood, and your school district. Neighborhoods closer to work are not desirable for some reason. Uh, your kids are in school and it's the middle of the school year and you commute rather than disrupt their lives by moving. Real estate close to work is very expensive. You spend time commuting instead of money for a house close in. You want to live a bucolic life far from the hustle and bustle of the city. And you can only find such a life far from the city. Yeah, that's some good reasons. hmm And other thing is that, as you say, it could be expensive for me. I work like maybe 45 minutes away. It could be expensive around here. Excuse me. All right. What are some simple wealth generating habits which anyone could start to use, whatever the situation? Yeah, we can do this right here. Now, if you're tuning into this, that means I hope you can put me on your like commute to work. That way you can just hear to what I have to say and the questions and some insights. So that's just my goal with this podcast, I suppose. Or you don't even have to look at the screen. You just gotta listen. Because you could choose to look if you like, but I'll just read out the things. All right. What are some simple wealth generating habits which anyone can start to use, whatever their situation? All right. One, read a lot. That is so true. You read a lot and then you produce something. Because that's what I do with my other channel. I read a lot and program as well. Listen to podcasts. If you do that, you will beat 90% of other people who go home and work again. Most people stop learning seriously after university. The key is doing things, putting it into action, and not just reading. See, yep, that's what I mean. Like I read and then start programming. Two, take calculated risk. If you're broke and have two young kids, that doesn't mean starting your own business with a 50K loan, but it might mean taking baby steps. Three, invest from a young age, even small amounts. That's true. Four, play the numbers game. Implement hundreds of ideas you have learned from books. Don't be afraid of failure and just move on to the next idea if it doesn't work. Five, be prepared to move locations for opportunities. Yep. So be willing to relocate to remote areas, unless your family ties you down, and that's another case. Okay. Let me see. Six. Focus on how much you spend as much as how much you earn and receive from your investments. Interesting. Seven. Focus on any form of business activities that can scale. Okay. Eight. Work hard, but more importantly, work smart, understanding how to use the 80-20 rule. 9. Always focus on the long term in your business and life. 10. Automate your investments so money goes to your investment account one day after you are paid. Yep, I put $100 to the investment every time, once a month for now. If I were to get a higher salary, I'd probably put more than that. All right. 11. Rely on your own personal reputation in business rather than hiding behind a corporate wall. 12. Focus on your relationships with others. What goes around comes around. These are pretty good tips. I'll probably put this for the title of the video. This one is called, let me just remember that for the title. Yeah, what are some simple wealth generating habits? Okay, yeah, we'll put that in the title. All right. Um, as a CEO, if you find out one of your employees wants to start a business, what do you do? Well, it depends. Is it a business competing, or is it like some other random business in web development? Like if it's a competing business, then that's where you have the NDA, because that bothers them a lot. But if um if it's if it's a different business, they wouldn't normally care, you know. All right. What was the bravest thing you ever did in a job interview? Let's pass on that question. What are everyday household items that are worth spending the extra money on? Let's pass on that. I'm a young sociopath still figuring things out. What are some tips from people educated in psychology? How do you handle a family member who won't get a job? Let's see. This is actually an interesting question. Let's see. I must keep hoping he'll wake up dead one morning. Wow. In November 2017, I was conned into taking my younger brother back into my home. He'd been living behind a dumpster for 3 years due to his refusal to get a job. He told our sister, who wasn't about to take him into her house, that he was ready to turn his life around. He now understood that we had been telling him for the last 20 years about needing to get a job. He lived with our mother all his life until she died when he was 50. He had enough inheritance to live for 2 years, more than enough time to get a job and be self-supporting. So she convinced me to take him in. The plan was that he spend a few months getting his health under control. He has a few medical issues, included blocked arteries, and then he get his life on track, get a job, etc. It's now February 2020. He's done zero to get his life back on track, although he did have emergency heart surgery last year. I'm stuck with him now because I know if I put him back on the streets, he'll die. I can't live with that, so I'm just waiting for him to die naturally. He's 57 now. Dad died at 60. Our older brother at 52. The odds are not in my younger brother's favor. The minute he dies, I'm selling my house and moving out of state. Oh, that's kind of sad. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's continue. All right. Let's see. Let's continue on to the next question. Hey, we're moving. We're doing some good progress here. All right. What is the dumbest question IT crew has asked you? Let's pass on that. What are common mistakes made by first-time home buyers? Okay, we read this one.